Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Magic Gamer 74. I'm your host, Anthony Gamer, and today we're going to continue on with great cards from Unlimited. So far, we've had 2 episodes where I've discussed some of the great cards from this amazing expansion. Well, I don't know if I'd call it an expansion. It was basically 3rd edition, so... But anyway, so far we've gotten through 2 episodes, and this may wrap it up today. I'm not really sure. If not, at least one more after this, and then we can move on to some of the later expansions. But before we get started, please don't forget to read the disclaimer in the description below. It'll save both of us a lot of headaches. Also, if you'd like to game with me on Arena, my username is ClassicGamer74. You'll see that right there. Remember, the C is capital, but the G isn't. All one word. So without further ado, let's get into the cards.
Alright, today we're going to start off with black, and our first card for today is Bad Moon. It's an enchantment that casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. Black creatures get +1/+1. Nice. Only problem, what if all your opponents are playing black? Which happens to me quite a bit. Anyway, if you'd like to add this card to your collection, it's a little on the expensive side. It will currently cost you $51, but it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have Black Knight. This 2/2 creature casts for 2 black. It has first strike and protection from white. Pretty cool. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will currently cost you $24, and it's been reprinted quite a few times. Next up, we have one of the single most useful and practical cards in Magic, Dark Ritual. This instant casts for 1 black, and it adds 3 black mana. For some reason, this was banned off Arena, and with a couple other types of playing. I don't know why. I have no idea how they decide what gets banned and what doesn't. Anyway, if you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $15, and it's been reprinted several times. Next up, we have probably my best friend's favorite card, and that is Demonic Tutor. This sorcery casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. Search your library for a card. Put that card into your hand, then shuffle. Yep, great card. What's not great is the price. If you'd like to get this edition of the card, it'll currently cost you around $123, but it has been reprinted several times with some really awesome artwork. Check it out. Next up, we have a card that my best friend's son loves to play, and that is Drudge Skeletons. This 1/1 creature casts for 1 colorless and 1 black, and for 1 black, it regenerates. He loves regenerating black creatures. Anyway, also this card is very inexpensive. If you'd like to add it to your black deck, it will only cost you $2, and it's been reprinted several times. Next up, we have Fear. This enchantment casts for 2 black. Enchanted creature has Fear, which basically means it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or black creatures, which is pretty cool unless you're playing against a lot of people that play black. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will only cost you 95 cents, and it's been reprinted quite a few times. Next up, we have a little pumper, and this is Frozen Shade. This 0/1 creature casts for 2 colorless and 1 black. Tap 1 black. Frozen Shade gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Not bad. Not great, but still not bad. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $1.16, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have the Hypnotic Spectre. That's what my best friend calls it. This really cool creature casts for 1 colorless and 2 black. It's a 2/2 flyer. Whenever Hypnotic Spectre deals damage to an opponent, that player discards a card at random. Definitely a dick move card, and it's really fun to play with. If you'd like to add this particular edition of this card to your collection, it's going to cost you a little bit. It's currently worth about $52, but it's been reprinted several times. Next up, we have a card that goes with a combo, and that is Lich. This is an interesting combo that goes with Mirror Universe from Legends. Here's what it does. Now listen carefully. This enchantment casts for 4 black. As Lich enters the battlefield, you lose life equal to your life total. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. If you would gain life, draw that many cards instead. Whenever you're dealing damage, sacrifice that many non-game permanents. If you can't, you lose the game. When Lich is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you lose the game. So if you look back on my episode about Mirror Universe, you can kind of see how this can really ruin someone's day. Basically, I'll explain it real quick, although I did in the Legends set. Basically, in Mirror Universe, you and an opponent switch life totals. So using this card with that, potentially you can win the game. I've actually used it. However, both of those cards are quite expensive. This particular edition of the card is worth $183. Actually, it's worth more than the alpha and beta version. And this was it. This was the last time it was printed. So, a cool combo, but an expensive one. And next up, we have another fun card, and that is Lord of the Pit. This 7/7 flying trample demon casts for 4 colorless and 3 black. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature other than Lord of the Pit. If you can't, Lord of the Pit deals 7 damage to you. Wow. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck, it will cost you a little bit. It's currently worth about $50, but it's been reprinted quite a few times. And next up, we have a card that's still around today. As a matter of fact, I have several of them in the decks I play on Arena, and that is Nightmare. This flying creature casts for 5 colorless and 1 black. It goes as this. Nightmare's power and toughness are each equal to the number of swamps you control. So when you cast it, it should be a 6/6. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, this particular edition's a little expensive. It's worth $100, but it's been reprinted several times and still is today. And next up, we have another card that you don't see much anymore. It used to be played quite a bit, and that's Paralyze. It casts for 1 black. It's an enchantment. Enchant creature. When Paralyze enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. At the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller, that player may pay 4. If the player does, untap the creature. If you'd like to add this very useful card to your collection, it will cost you $1.30, and it's been reprinted quite a few times. When we talk about practical cards that aren't as appreciated anymore as they used to be, we have to be talking about Royal Assassin. This 1/1 creature casts for 1 colorless and 2 black. Tap him, destroy target tapped creature. Any target tapped creature. Part of the reason maybe is because this particular edition's a little expensive. This card is currently worth around $100, but it has been reprinted quite a few times. So if you don't have this in one of your black decks, get it. Next up, we have a very practical card that could only be black, and that is Sacrifice. This instant casts for 1 black. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Add an amount of black mana equal to the sacrifice creature's mana value. Nice. Desperate times call for desperate measures. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will currently cost you $8.50, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have Singer Vampire. Remember that family? We learned about them in Homelands, like Baron Singer and, all them. This 4/4 flying creature casts for 3 colorless and 2 black. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Singer Vampire this turn dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Singer Vampire. Nice. Also a card I do like to play with in my vampire decks. And this particular artwork was done by Anson Maddox, one of the best artists for Magic. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $24, and it's been reprinted several times. All right, moving right along, we have Simulacrum. This instant casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. You gain life equal to the damage dealt to you this turn. Simulacrum deals damage to target creature you control equal to the damage dealt to you this turn. Not bad. Take the damage away from you, gain life, and do it to one of your creatures. Definitely not a card that somebody with creature love would play with. If If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will currently cost you $6, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have a card that collectors just love. You see this card just about every card shop, and that is Sinkhole. This sorcery casts for 2 black, destroy target land. Oh yeah. If you'd like to add this particular card to your collection, it will currently cost you around $28, and I don't think it was reprinted after this, so this is your only chance to get it, and it's much cheaper than the Alpha and Beta edition. And next up, we have Terror, another card that used to be played a lot more than it is nowadays. This instant casts for 1 black and 1 colorless. Destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. I think the reason I don't use it much anymore is because a lot of my friends play black. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $3.46, and it's been reprinted several times. Another fun card that I love, and I love the artwork, and that is Unholy Strength. This enchantment casts for 1 black, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+1. Nice. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will currently cost you $2.99, well, round up to $3, and it's been reprinted several times. And next up, we have a card I didn't even know about until I was doing research, and that is Warp Artifact. This enchantment casts for 2 black. At the beginning of the upkeep of Enchanted Artifact's controller, Warp Artifact deals 1 damage to that player. Yeah. Got to get me a couple of these. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $18, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next is another card that used to be a staple in every black deck, and that is Weakness. This enchantment casts for 1 black, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -2, -1. Yep. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $1.78, and it's been reprinted several times. And next up, and our final black card, and that is Will-O-the-Wisp. This is one of my best friend's favorite cards. He said is the greatest card in Magic. This 0/1 creature casts for 1 black. It's flying, and tap 1 black, regenerate. Yep. If you'd like to add this particular card to your collection, this edition will cost you right around $50, but it's been reprinted several times. All right, so let's begin Red, the color of chaos and destruction. And the first one, with awesome artwork, again by Ansomatics, is Disintegrate. This sorcery casts for X, colorless, and 1 red. Disintegrate deals X damage to any target. If it's a creature, it can't be regenerated this turn, and if it would die, exile it instead. If you'd like to add this card to your red deck, it will currently cost you $3.27, and it's been reprinted several times. Next up, we have a card I really do still love to play with, and that is Dragon Whelp. This 2/3 flying creature casts for 2 colorless and 2 red. Tap 1 red, Dragon Whelp gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If this ability has been activated 4 or more times this turn, sacrifice Dragon Whelp at the beginning of the next end step. In other words, yeah, you can only pump him so much. He's just a baby. If you'd like to add this card to your red deck, it will currently cost you $11.77, and it's been reprinted several times. All right, and next up, we have Earthbind. That kind of looks like some fetish picture there, but anyway, love it. If this card, this enchantment, now I'm all discombobulated. This enchantment casts for 1 red, enchant creature. When Earthbind enters the battlefield, if enchanted creature has flying, Earthbind deals 2 damage to that creature, and Earthbind gains. Enchanted creature loses flying. Nice. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $10.45, and it has been reprinted several times. Next up, we have another fun direct damage card, and that is Fireball. This sorcery casts for X colorless and 1 red. This spell costs 1 colorless more to cast for each target beyond the first. Fireball deals X damage divided evenly, rounded down among any number of targets. Yep. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will currently cost you $6.30, and it's been reprinted several times. All right, and next up we have Fire Breathing. This enchantment casts for 1 red, enchant creature. Tap 1 red. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, so you can make any creature into a pumper. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 95 cents, and it's been reprinted several times. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorite cards, and that is Fork. Yep, this instant casts for 2 red. Copy target instant or sorcery spell, except that copy is red. You may choose new targets for that spell. Somebody hits you with a fire bolt or lightning bolt or something, say, nope, fork you. Send it right back to them. Love it. However, this particular edition of the card is very valuable. It currently is worth $377, but luckily it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have Goblin Balloon Brigade, continuing on with the tradition on this channel of 1/1 creatures that cast for 1. These creatures cast for 1 red. Tap red. Goblin Balloon Brigade gains flying until end of turn. Yep, a staple in every Goblin deck. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $14, and it's been reprinted several times. And continuing on with the Goblins, we have the Goblin King. This 2/2 creature casts for 1 colorless and 2 red. Other Goblins get +1/+1 and have Mountain Walk. Yep. Definitely a card that needs to be in every Goblin deck. Maybe not this edition, though, as this edition will cost you $68, and this card has been reprinted several times. And next up, we have the Harloon Minotaur. I love Minotaurs. This 2/3 creature casts for 1 colorless and 2 red. Pretty cool. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it won't cost you much. It's only worth 86 cents, and it's been reprinted several times. And of course, it was also done by Ansomatics. And next up, we have one of my all-time favorite cards in Magic, and probably my all-time favorite red card, and that is Lightning Bolt. This instant casts for 1 red. Lightning Bolt deals 3 damage to any target. Use it with Fork, and they take 6. Oh yeah. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $29, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Okay, and next up we have Mana Flare. This enchantment casts for 2 colorless and 1 red. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. So basically you get 2 for 2 like green for the price of 1 forest, something like that. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $40, and it's been reprinted a couple times. And continuing on with the Goblin tradition, we have Mon's Goblin Raiders. I don't know who Mon's is. It's a 1/1 creature that casts for 1. Okay, if you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 94 cents, and it's been reprinted a couple times. And next up, we have a card that must be reprinted. If anybody that has any ability to do that is listening, this card needs to be reprinted. It's Shatter. It casts for 1 colorless and 1 red. This instant, destroy target artifact. If you'd like to add this card to your collection and put in your red decks, which you should put in every single red deck, it will cost you $1.82. And next up, we have one of my all-time favorite cards in Magic, Sheevan Dragon. This 5/5 flyer casts for 4 colorless and 2 red. Tap 1 red. Sheevan Dragon gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Love this card. I have just about every edition of this card. I just love the artwork. Awesome card. Just can't say enough good things about it. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it's going to cost you just a little bit. This edition will cost you $175, but it's been reprinted several times with several different cool artwork, just like the original. Next up, we have Smoke. This is an interesting card. Another one I didn't realize existed until recently. It's an enchantment that costs 2 red. Players can't untap more than 1 creature during their untap steps. So, when would you use this card? I say if you're playing against somebody that loves to play a Goblin deck. Yes, this will make them cry. And yes, this is a dick move. But it's fun. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $37, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have a card that you must put in a Goblin deck. And this is Stone Giant. This 3/4 creature casts for 2 colorless and 2 red. Tap him. Target creature you control with toughness less than Stone Giant's power gains flying until end of turn. Destroy that creature at the beginning of the next end step. So, this card's been reprinted several times, and this particular card's worth $2.78. But my personal favorite artwork isn't this one. It's this one that I've got on the screen right here. Yep, and I just love using this card in a Goblin deck, and you should too, definitely. And next up, speaking of stone, we have Wall of Stone. Okay, this creature casts for 1 colorless and 2 red. It's a defender, which means it can't attack, and it's a 0/8. It's one of the biggest walls I've ever seen in Magic. If you'd like to add this card to your collection or your deck, it will only cost you $6.22, and it has been reprinted a couple times. And next up, we have one of the most interesting cards in Magic, and that is Wheel of Fortune. This sorcery casts for 2 colorless and 1 red. Each player discards their hand, then draws 7 cards. Nice. Now, of course, there are some cards that do kind of the same thing for a lot less. This particular card's quite expensive, as it's currently worth $420. Yeah, and it was only reprinted Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and revised, but revised wasn't a whole lot cheaper. It was $311, and that was it. But there are some cards that are quite similar. All right, so I looked all over the internet, and about the closest I could find that does the same thing as Wheel of Fortune is this card, Molten Psyche. Each player shuffles the cards from their hands into the library, then draws that many cards. If you control 30 or more artifacts, Molten Psyche deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of cards that player has drawn this turn. Nice, huh? This card's only worth $3.19, and it was in Scars of Moradin, which, again, is a nice card, kind of similar, and it's going to cost you a heck of a lot less. Well, that wraps it up for today. I hope you guys found this informative and enjoyable. If you did, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you will be notified when I upload any new material. Well, we got one more episode, and then that will do it for Unlimited, and we will move on to our next expansion. So, Planeswalkers, until next time, I will see you all in the arena. Bye for now.